Okay, this is my black and gold cup, my Leopard cup. So I am going to take black. I spray painted it with this like rose gold. It just kind of a gold. It doesn't really have to be, but this is like way too shiny. So I just take a little bit of a Brillo pad, not a Brillo pad, but like a steel wool, and just kind of scratch it up a little bit, and then put the epoxy on there. So I'm going to heat this up. Put the epoxy on there. I'm going to rough this up a little bit. Heat this up. Put the epoxy on there. Do the black and gold. And then we'll go from there. Okay, I have my gold mix that I made. I'll go over that in a different part of the video. But this is a mix that I made from a peachy olive glitter and then a mix of some other glitter that I found at a place near my house. Now when I paint this, or when I spray paint it, I do the blending. I don't care if the gold gets up in here. I do care if the black gets down here, because the gold, we're going to actually kind of add a little bit of black and gold to the top part. So I'm not too worried about some gold being up into the black, because the black's going to cover a lot better than if you had a bunch of black down here. It could darken that up. So knock that off. Okay, now I'm going to do, this is Johnny from Peachy Olive Glitter. Just kind of, I'm not trying to blend it right now. I'm just trying to get this top part. I'll work on blending it here in a minute. I'm just pouring it on, okay? Now, I'm just going to kind of very lightly tap into that gold. Okay. Okay, and this is a black that I made where I put some gold, some fine gold in it, so that we can, so that this black can have some gold. And I just kind of poured on there just to kind of fill in those cracks. Not a whole lot's going to go on there because it's already kind of covered, but it's just going to fill in those cracks and give us some gold up here at the top. And then I just kind of let a little bit fall into the gold. Black has a tendency to be pretty matte, so putting that gold in there just kind of gives it some shine. Now I'm just using a gold, just a plain gold. This the same gold that's in this original mix, but I'm just going to kind of letting it kind of spill into the black. I'm not tilting it too far, and not a lot of it's going to stick, but it's just going to help with that blending. And then I'm also going to do the bottom because I didn't get the bottom too good. But that is it. Like I said, I'll go over the gold. I'll go over the gold later. That's it. So you have that break. This is a little more difficult. The curve is a little more difficult than the traditional where you have that cut that you can really know exactly where you're going, but it still works. It's still, you just have to be a little more careful. So. Okay, so we have our name here. I've chosen the font. This is Generous is the font that I've chosen. So I have welded the letters together, but I'm going to show you, how I did that. So I'm going to take the letters here, make it big, and I'm going to ungroup it. This T right here, I don't like it. It's too small in my opinion. So I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to bring it right up in here to where the I is. Now I'm going to take the N and I'm going to use my arrow key and I'm going to move it over. Now I always try to make where it looks kind of like it's been scripted. So in the placement of like where it would be, kind of how you would go up and down if you were writing it out. And I'm going to move this A over. Now the A, if I was to move this over, and you see how you have that little bit right there? Now what that's going to do, if I was to weld this, it could possibly black out the letter. And I know you've probably had this happen to you. There's two ways you can fix that. Make sure that that is not in there. Or you can take a piece, a square or whatever, and just kind of slice. You can slice this like this, and then that way the end kind of sits in there and it doesn't have that longer tail that could come up in here. That's one way to do it. Or you make it really gigantic. That's what helps me a lot of the times. Before I go to the point of slicing the letter off, I just make it really big and then I hit weld and then it's perfectly fine. So that's just two ways to kind of fix that problem if you've had it, and I know everybody has. And it's just kind of one of those, you're like, how can I not make this happen? And those are two ways you can make that not happen. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that because this is the one I want to use. Let's stretch this out. Got unlocked. Okay. So I'm gonna make this really big. And okay, now I'm gonna take the print screen. And I know everybody has a print screen button somewhere. Well, I would assume everybody has it. I have it on my keyboard and it's just a button. Some of them you have to press like FN or something to kind of to get it, because it might be a button with two different options or something like that. This is how I do it. I don't know if it's the easiest way or the hardest way. I don't know, but this is how I do it. So we're going to crop this. I have two screens, so it's bringing in both screens. So I've got to crop this out. I'm going to just make it as close to the thing as possible. I'm going to bring this out, make this big, right? I'm going to right click and go to save as a picture. Okay, you don't have to do anything other than just click on it and save it as a picture. And I'm actually going to save this one because I want to make sure
because when you do this, it needs to be the one that you're using to do the offset. They need to be one and the same, because you'll have a problem if you don't do it that way. Okay, we're going to save this one as the one we want. Now, we're going to go to Inkscape. Inkscape is a free program you can download. So we're going to pull in our Tina here. And, okay, we're going to make sure this is clicked. You want all these lines all around it, okay? Then we're going to go to Trace Bitmap, and we're going to do 95, remove background, like that. Now, you have 2 of these like that. You don't need to do anything, just leave it alone. We're working with the one on top. Now we're going to go to Path, and we're going to go to Outset. We're just going to click this outset as many times as you want. Now, this particular type of cup to me is a little, you know, I don't want to say gaudy because I designed it, but it's a little flashy, you know, it's a little more in your face, over the top kind of cup. So I like to make the background big. I like to make it thick, so that it shows a lot of that gold that I'm going to put the black on. And so there's just a lot of shine and a lot of the holographic going on. And that's just the way that I like it. Here, I'm just looking to see, I just want like fewer space in between here, and that's going to give you that real thick look. So I think this is about where I'm at. Don't worry about this right here. We can delete that. So we're going to go to save, and we're going to save as offset. I always put like the name, it's the regular name, and then offset. So if I needed to, I could pull both of them back into Design Space. I could just pull them in as a picture or whatever. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to make this smaller. Okay. Now I'm going to pull in the new Tina. Y'all are seeing the second video that I did here. So we're going to do this one. Now, it comes in gigantic, right? But we're going to make it smaller. Now this little piece right here, all we have to do is come to contour, and we're just going to contour that right out. No big deal. Bam. Done. This one is going to be gold, right? So I'm just going to change it to yellow. This is going to stay black. So I'm going to move this to the front, and I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to just force it in there, just kind of where I want it. Okay, that looks about right. I'm going to take both of them like that, and I'm going to center it so that it comes in right where I need it to be. Now, you still have to apply this to your cup, but I just like to make sure that nothing is a little bit too longer, so I can adjust it if I need to, right? So I just like to see it like, okay, it looks good, you know? Now, I have taken this. This is, I have 2 of these, right? This is something I found off of Google, just the one I liked. This one is the 10.5 inches. Now that's for a 30-ounce cup. That one this one is 10 ounces. This one would be for like a 20-ounce modern curve or a 20-ounce skinny or something like that. It's about 9.5 inches around, but I make it 10 because that way I have enough, you know, pieces to go around, right? And this is about right. I use almost all of these when I'm doing this. So I would just leave it. I would just do about 10 by 4, depending on what, you know, spots you use or whatever. If you know how to pull in something, you know, you can do it simple. And I just make this piece kind of big. I don't do it too big because then the spots would be too big, but I make it 10 inches wide, right? And then I take a square and I make the square 10 by 4, right? And then I just like that, okay? And then I just place it in the bigger version, with this being like a big sheet of spots. I just take it and kind of put it where I would want it, and then I just take both of them and I slice it like that, and then you have, you know, then you have your spots, right? So I'm going to undo that, but that's essentially how you would do it. You know, just take the piece, make sure the piece, this piece is the size that you want it to be, and that way the spots aren't gigantic. And that's how I did that. So I'm going to change this to black because I'm going to do these black. Now, that's that. I'm going to cut it, and then we will apply it onto the cup, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I have my spots. I have my cup here, I have my spots, and then I have my offset, and this we're going to put on top. I have not weeded this, so I'm just going to weed this with you guys. I have my weeding tool from Cricut. I also have this little pen tool. It's been through the ringer. This is really good for if you need to get like right in the corners there. Just to kind of, this is really nice for that. So there's that. Oh, let me get some transfer paper. Okay, let's take our okay, I hope I'm not going to get in this shot, or I will, y'all will be in the shot, but my head won't be in the shot. So I usually just take like one spot, and I just kind of line it up with that. And then if I need to, I can even just like maneuver this if I need to, right? To get it kind of straight. Yeah, see? Sometimes I'll even cut it and just be like, I'm just gonna do this that way. So that's kind of how I do it. I can maneuver the transfer tape if I need to. Okay, so now I have that, and I'm going to put this on our cup. So what I do is just kind of look to see, like right here, I have sanded it. So I sanded the you know, edge of the cup like that to give a good barrier for the epoxy to kind of stick to that metal. So at this point now I'm going to see, you know, like this is a really smooth part. Just in case if there's like a bump or something like that, it can show through. So I just kind of try to find the best place to put it. This is about 3.5 inches wide. I did this 3.5. That's about a good, this is a 20-ounce modern curve. 3.5 inches is a pretty good size there. So, and then I have my alcohol here. And I have coffee filters that I got at Walmart. Just make sure, I just wait till I kind of hear the squeaky, because This, if you have 99% alcohol, good for you for finding it. But right now it's like almost impossible. So this is like 71. So it has water in it. So I just make sure that it, you know, sounds like it's pretty dry, you know. So I am going to pull y'all down just a little bit so I can see here. So, and make sure you get this down really good, because those bubbles and bumps or whatever will show through big time once you get it under epoxy. Just think of a magnifying glass. That is what epoxy is. It is a magnifying glass for all the things that you did. That's why it's so... This is a difficult business. Okay, and then I can take my pen tool, because it has such a fine little point there that, like, if I have a little bubble right here, I just kind of poke it and push it down. Right. So, and it's inevitable you're going to have these. But you just have to chalk it up to, this is handmade. This is blood, sweat, and tears. And this is just your trademark for it, for them to know that it is a real handmade cup. Okay? So don't stress. Okay. Now we have our spots. Now, I'm going to probably do a couple of these and then I'll turn it off and speed it up, because it does take a little bit of time and I don't want to have y'all sitting here going through that over and over. But I found this. I'll link this description at the bottom. This is called like gray space holographic. I don't even know, but it is amazing. I use a gold holographic here and then a black holographic here. So, and it really does just set this cup off. But you'll see, I'll talk about that. You'll see how there's like a line here, like that right there. That I usually put those at the bottom. I put those down here and I make just an edge, because I don't even worry about going over the edge. If you go over the edge, you're going to be messing up the epoxy doesn't like rounded edges. That's why you always have a hard time with this edge right here. So I don't even try to put vinyl over there unless it's going to go all the way across down the bottom and I'm going to put something on top of it. That's the only time when I do my split cups that I do something like that. Other than that, I try to avoid it, and I'm not even apologetic about it. I just put the line up about right here, and that's what it is. So, and then in the long run, you won't have any pulling and anything like that. So I have sanded this, washed it with Dawn soap, sanded the edge here, and then sanded the rest of it, washed it with Dawn soap. And now I'm going to put the spots on, and I will speed y'all up for that, because this takes a little bit of time. And I don't use transfer tape. I just kind of carefully pull them off and stick them on there. It's honestly, it's just, I mean, if you want to use transfer tape, it's on you, but this is really thin and easy to peel up, and it's really pliable too. That's what I love about it. It kind of stretches, so if since it's kind of, some of them are like circles and stuff, you can kind of stretch it and make it go flat, so you don't have too many bubbles. So, but you will have bubbles. Anyways, I'm gonna start this. I will speed y'all up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, and so that's that. See how it has the line on the bottom? I don't even try to get it to the edge. I just try to avoid that, and to me it looks perfectly fine. I do sometimes take the pieces up into the black back here. I think it just looks kind of cool. I'll take a few pieces up in here too. I also, what I was showing you in the picture was the inside of the spots, you know, like that. I don't weed those out because I'll use them as a spot, because I mean, it's all, that's the one right there that I used that I didn't weed out. And, you know, and I just used those spots. So I just kind of feel it out and just see where things go, where I need one. Every once in a while, you'll get a bubble, and I just take my little pen tool and poke it and just kind of try to work it out. I don't mess with them too much because, like I said, they will show up. So, you know, if it's a big enough bubble, I'll just try to pop it, and then leave it alone, because I'd rather it just maybe just have a bubble than worry about trying to mess with it, because it was under epoxy. So, but that's that. That is how I do it. And then you can save these if you want. I don't usually. I did in the beginning, and then it was just like I had too many of them and not enough, you know. But I do, like, if I have a couple of cups that I'm doing, I'll save this, kind of put it off to the side just in case, if I need it for another one, you know. So, then just a couple little bubbles here. I just try to pop them and then push the air out. So, but that's that. This one right here, I know you saw me in the video and I stopped it because I wasn't sure how I was going to fix it. But what I did was I had like a little bump, you know, like a little ridge that it didn't go around. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I just took my X-Acto knife and I sliced it, and then I lifted it up and just kind of laid it over the other piece. So it doesn't look so bad, you know. But I have done a ton of these, and every single one I have I have something that goes on. Some kind of something that doesn't go exactly right or whatever. So don't be upset, don't be hard on yourself. But that is essentially that. Now the next step we're going to do is put my logo on the bottom, and then we're going to cover it in Mod Podge, and I will film that. I'm going to let this sit though. I usually let it sit for about an hour just to kind of stick on there, but it doesn't really, I mean, I have done it where I'm like, I gotta go, and I've put it, you know, put it on there, put the Mod Podge on there, dried it, and, you know, so, and it's fine. So, but you do want to make sure the Mod Podge dries, but sometimes you just can't wait, and so I'll put the Mod Podge on, let it dry, put another coat on, and then really let it dry. So I usually do that at night so that in the morning I come in, cup's ready to go. Next step, Mod Podge. Okay, we're back, and I don't know if I explained that, you know, I showed y'all the glitter that we did, you know, I epoxied and then glittered the black and the gold, that I did 2 coats of epoxy on top of that. Then I did my sanding, cleaning, did the decals. Now I'm going to put this is a little paper towel holder that I got at the Dollar Tree, some footballs, and I just shove this on here and just kind of put that on there like that. Now, this brush I got off of Amazon, and you can use a Mod Podge brush or whatever, but you want to make sure that it gives you nice strokes, because you don't want to have, and you don't want to do it all kinds of different ways. Well, I do the bottom that way, but it's kind of inevitable. But when you're coming down, you just need to come down, up and down, up and down. You don't want to do it sideways, you know, or, you know, if you're going to do it sideways, do it. I've never done it sideways, so
Don't quote me on if that would even look right. I've always just done it like this. But this is game changer, especially for this holographic. It is a game changer. So I have my logos that I printed on Cricut printable vinyl. I take my cup and look at where the name is and just kind of center it. And then I'm going to pull y'all out of really quick so I can put this on here. And I touch from the inside and then go out and just kind of push it down. Now, some people say that you can epoxy over this without sealing it, but I wouldn't do it. And I have done it and it has smeared, so I don't even try. And this is how I actually found out about this. Was I did this and then I was like, I'm just going to take it all the way down and like cover the whole thing. And man, it was like instantaneous. I do not do a cup without it. So, it gives you such a clean finish in the end. It's unbelievable. It'll be a game changer. I promise. And it's so simple, and Mod Podge is very easy to get. You don't have to order it. I mean, you can get it at the Dollar Tree if you wanted to. You could even make it. I've never made it, but it is possible. But this is a water base. This, it has water in it. So you do not want to, you want to make sure that this dries. That's why, like, I'm not going to do this cup until tomorrow. And I mean, not necessarily that. It's just, I just have other things to do today. But I usually, most of the time, I do this at night. I do this right before, I do go watch my shows or something like that. I come in here and I get everything ready and I'll put the decals on. Or if I do the decals during the day, I have let it sit for a while and then I just Mod Podge it at night. That's when I do my polyacrylic too. After I glitter the cup, I do polyacrylic to seal it in. I do not like the spray stuff. This is not the same. And I've had a cup bleed. Yes, I've had it bled out the color into my white, and that was great. You know what I mean? So I do not do that. I just do polyacrylic. I also like polyacrylic, and I've probably said this before in another video, but I can do it in my house. I have a detached garage, and I would have to go out at night and go out there and try to spray something and deal with the big, humongous tree roaches that we have here, and I'm just not, no. Mama doesn't play that game. So I love the things that I can do here in my house that are non-toxic, or not necessarily, I don't know if polyacrylic's toxic or not, but it doesn't, but I can do it in my house. I don't have to, fill the whole house up with spray. So this is what I do. Now I'm going to let this dry for, I don't know, 30 minutes or whatever. And then I'm going to put another coat, and make sure you run your finger across the edge here, because it will get like really yucky. But that's that. That is what I do. So the next step will be the final coat, and I do a nice thick final coat, and that is my Leopard black and gold cup. And I'll tell you about my my logo. Some people have kind of said things about it, that my stickers have all this stuff on there. But my thing is, This is my style. This is the way I like to do things, and you need to do what you need to do for you. You know, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you think your cup looks cool or neat or, you know, whatever. And but I put this information on here because for me, I would rather them have a reminder every single moment of every single day not to do these things. Now, have I done all of these things? Yes, I absolutely have. I leave my cup in the car all the time. I hand wash. I have only put it in the dishwasher once, maybe twice, but I don't do it often. Maybe like once a year, but I don't do it now anymore. But I did before I started making cups. And then soaking. I mean, some people just do like hot water and stuff like that. I just wouldn't do that, you know. But I can do those things because I can fix it. I can, you know, I want them to know that they need to treat this. They need to be delicate with it. They can drink out of it. They can take it places, you know, but they just need to know, in my opinion. So they're safe. They have their cup that they spend a lot of money on, and they, you know, nothing can happen to it, you know, barring it dropping and cracking or something like that. But that's just me. But that's something that I would suggest. I would suggest you putting some kind of logo on the bottom of your cup. Whatever you decide, whatever's your style, whatever, you know, says whatever about you, that's what I would do. And I would put it on the bottom of the cup, and I would epoxy it in there and make it permanent. So whenever they go, oh my God, that cup is so cool, they flip it over. Oh, it's you know, 321 Designs. You can look her up, you know, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, next will be epoxy and we'll be done.